Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We'll talk about Exadata in this session. The vision of Exadata is to provide a dramatically better platform for all type of Oracle database workloads. We do it by providing an ideal database hardware perfect for all type of database workloads. We also provide smart system software, which includes different type of algorithms designed to optimize different type of database workloads from OLTP to analytics to mixed workloads. And then Exadata comes with full stack integration end-to-end. Now, we have been selling Exadata for 10 years now, and we have thousands of customers around the world. We have very good industry penetration in all of the industry verticals. In fact, we say that 4 out of 5 top retailers, financial institution customers, utilities, and in fact, customers in every industry sector are the customers of Exadata. Exadata is used in petabyte warehouses. We have supercritical workloads running on Exadata, packaged applications like PeopleSoft, SAP, Sejel, they all run on Exadata, and we have a lot of installation around the world on that. And then Exadata is a great platform for consolidation of the workloads. If you look at the top 100 companies in the world, 77% of them use Exadata technology to address their data management requirements. At the heart of Exadata is the smart system software. And then there are various algorithms specifically designed to optimize different type of workloads. So if you take the case of analytics, we have unique smart system software called Smart Scan, which enhances the analytic queries by spreading the query over to the storage cells. We have Smart Flash Cache, we have smart storage indexing, and we have automatic conversion of data to fast in-memory columnar format in the flash to accelerate the analytic queries. On the OLTP side, RDMA is at the heart of Exadata OLTP acceleration. Then we have fast error detection and fixing to address OLTP queries. And on the consolidation side, Exadata has been specifically designed to consolidate different type of workloads, OLTP, analytics, all of them together. It has unique resource management capabilities to be able to address different type of quality of service associated with different databases in a consolidated environment. Then, since Exadata understands the database, Oracle database workloads inherently, it uniquely prioritizes certain type of messages over the others to provide the right service level agreements. So once again, at the heart of Exadata is the smart system software. That's the secret sauce of Exadata. Now, everyone talks about Flash in the market today. And there is one point I want to make about Flash, that if you look at a Flash today, NVMe Flash, that Flash can spit out 5.5 gigabytes of data per second. On the other hand, if you look at the network, if you take a 40 gigabits per second network, that network can only consume the data at 5 gigabytes per second. So now, if you have a storage array which is made of Flash, you can very easily see here that a single NVMe Flash can saturate the network. So in a standard storage array, which has a lot of flash cards, a single flash card can saturate the network, so it doesn't scale. But that's not the case in Exadata. In Exadata, the way we have architected the machine, along with the smart system software, Exadata actually scales as you add more and more flash capacity to it. And the way we do this thing is by moving the compute to the data through the smart system software, through a smart scan technology that we have. So we move the query to the storage cell, and all the filtration and the analysis actually happen on the storage cell itself. And because of the filtration, we are able to achieve much higher bandwidth on this entire transaction. Now, when you look at the hardware, we released Exadata X8 version of hardware in March of 2019. It is based on Intel's top bin Cascade processor, 24 cores. In X8, we used InfiniBand 40 gigabits per second that connects to the storage cell. And the storage capacity on Exadata X8 was based on 14 terabyte drives, and we had more cores on the processors on the storage cells. So X8 compared to X7 had 40% more storage capacity at the same price. In September of the last year, we introduced a new version of Exadata, and it is called X8M. And X8M is an entirely new way of looking at the Accelerator technology. We optimize it by multiples, and I'm going to explain to you what we did. There were 3 fundamental changes in Exadata X8M. Number 1, we added native persistent memory on the storage side. Number 2, we added RDMA over an Ethernet fabric, a converged Ethernet fabric. And number 3, we got ultra-fast RDMA to interact with the persistent memory to further accelerate the queries. Now let's look at ROCE. What is ROCE? ROCE is RDMA over converged Ethernet. RDMA is a way for one computer to access the data sitting in the memory of another computer without going through the operating system stack. It's a very fast way of accessing the memory of another system. At the heart of Exadata architecture is RDMA technology. In fact, we have been using RDMA from very early days of Exadata, and that's how we provide very fast processing or transactions within Exadata. The database nodes and the storage nodes inherently communicate with each other using RDMA. But RDMA also requires low latency and lossless nature of the underlying networking protocol. So in the past, it was only available with InfiniBand. So that's why in the past, our systems were based on InfiniBand network. But over the last many years, Ethernet has caught up with the capabilities of the InfiniBand. For example, converged Ethernet today provides lossless capabilities. Converged Ethernet is also very fast. It has very low latency. So ROCE, which is RDMA over converged Ethernet, became available in the market, and we decided that this is the right time for us to adopt ROCE-based architecture because Ethernet is much more prevalent technology in the customer's data center, and our ROCE is actually also standards-based. So it allows us to provide ultra-fast RDMA on a 100 gigabits per second converged network. So now let's look at the persistent memory. Persistent memory is the capabilities of the persistent memory lies between DRAM and flash, the performance and the cost. So the persistent memories architecturally sits where the DRAM sits. And it has the qualities of, it has the speed of a DRAM in terms of the read, but it's also persistent. And it provides us the an option to further accelerate the performance of Exadata. So in Exadata X8M, persistent memory is natively set in the architecture. And persistent memory is placed above the disk and the flash in the Exadata X8M architecture. So the cold data can sit in the spinning disk, the warm data can move to the flash, and the hot data obviously resides in the persistent memory. So like it's been shown on this picture here, the persistent memory accelerator, which is the persistent memory card, it is transparently added in front of the flash and the disk. And the compute nodes, they access the data sitting in the persistent memory through this ultra-fast RoCE protocol, RDMA over Converged Ethernet. Now, persistent memory RDMA also is used to accelerate the logs by approximately 8 times. Now, the thing to remember here is that even though we have added new capabilities to X8M architecture, the persistent memory and the RoCE-based Ethernet fabric, but all of these architectural changes are fully transparent to the customer. There are no changes to the application required anywhere because these are the architectural changes within the confines of the machine itself. Now, when you look at the performance of Exadata X8M after the addition of the persistent memory and after the RoCE-based architecture, you see phenomenal performance increase. So in a full rack of Exadata X8M, we can do 16 million IOPS. These are 2.5 times more than what we could do with an X8 platform that we released in March of 2019. The latency with X8M is less than 19 microseconds, which is 10 times faster than X8 machine. The log writes are 8 times faster. Now, when you look at the analytics scan, we can do 560 gigabytes of, we can scan 560 gigabytes of data in 1 second. Think about this number. 560 gigabytes of data can be scanned in 1 second in an X8M architecture. And no changes in the application are required. Now, a lot of people do talk about full flash storage available in the public cloud. So one of the common questions that we get is that, are we faster than flash storage provided by Amazon? Are we faster than flash storage provided by Azure? And you can look up these graphs here that we are at least 50 times better in latency in an AWS architecture compared to AWS architecture. And when you look at an Azure flash arrays, we are more than 100 times better. So I'll say there is not even a comparison here to think about, but since this question keeps coming up, I thought it was a good idea to flash it. So what are the benefits of X8M? You can do, because we can do 16 million IOPS, and the latency goes down substantially, less than 19 microsecond latency in a full rack configuration. Actually, your OLTP operations are extremely fast. And obviously, you can scan much more data in your analytics scan. So net and net, the performance of your existing tags become much better or much faster. You can consolidate many more databases within the same machine. Again, consolidation, again, the OLTP transactions as well as analytics. And this whole performance and the ability to be able to scan a lot of data in a very short time, it's a game changer for applications that need real-time access to a lot of data. For example, fraud detection, real-time inventory management, right? There are many, many cases where the applications may have to scan or analyze a lot of data. And with X8M, it's a game changer. Now, how about the price of X8M? The price of X8M is exactly same as X8 as of today. So they're the same price. So you're getting substantially more performance, right, both on the OLTP side as well as on the analytics side at exactly the same price of X8. And once again, there are no applications changes required because it's transparent. We have another product called Recovery Appliance, is abbreviated as ZDLRA, Zero Data Loss Backup and Recovery Appliance. We upgraded ZDLRA to an X8M architecture too. It uses the same RoCE RDMA over Converged Ethernet architecture, just like an Exadata architecture. So obviously, it gets the benefit of that high-performance RoCE interconnect also. This was released at the same time along with Exadata X8M last year in September. So both these products are available at exactly the same price as their X8 version, but with a substantially better performance. Now, thus far we talked about the technology itself, the core technology, which is Exadata. But when you look into the market, because of the different requirements, the customers require different type of deployment choices. At the core of Exadata strategy is that we want to provide a choice of deployment to the end customer so that you can fit it to your use cases. So let's see what type of deployment choices are we offering. So if you go from right to left, today a customer can buy Exadata on-prem in a very traditional way. That means it's a CapEx, a purchase, you own it after the transaction. If the customer wants Exadata on-prem, but in a cloud format, with the operating model of cloud, with the financial model of cloud, then you can acquire Exadata Cloud at Customer. It's a subscription-based option. Exadata sits behind your firewall, but it has all the characteristics of the cloud. If the customer wants to consume Exadata technology in the public cloud, then you can get the same technology as a service residing in Oracle public cloud data centers around the world. And then, if you want an automation at the database level, that means database running on Exadata, but fully automated through the stack, then you can acquire a full stack automation all the way up to the databases. That's called autonomous database. So the point of the slide here is that it's the same time-tested Exadata technology, but you choose based on the level of automation that you need, going from right to left. If you want to control everyone, the Exadata on-prem is your best option. But as you want more and more automation, you can keep moving to the cloud, and you can mix and match these cases depending on your IT requirements, your financial requirements, and your deployment requirements. Now, as of today, 25% of the Fortune 100 companies around the world, they use Exadata in the cloud format. And 77% of them use Exadata in the on-prem format. The cloud format is increasing over a period of time because these models were introduced in the last few years. Now, what is Exadata Cloud Service? Exadata Cloud Service is database service running on Exadata in Oracle Public Cloud. It's a cloud-based consumption model where Oracle owns the assets. You're consuming Exadata as a service, and it's a pay-per-use technology. That means you can pay based on how much you are consuming it. You can burst up and down, and it has all the characteristics of the cloud. Now, there are cases where the customer may like the value proposition of the cloud, they may like Exadata, but they're not ready to move to the public cloud, and there are various reasons for it. Many times, there are regulatory requirements where the customer cannot move the workload over to the public cloud. Sometimes, the IT environment in a customer's data center is so complex that it's very difficult for them to translate it into a public cloud. right? And sometimes the customers are a little more risk averse. That means they do not want to go to the public cloud directly, but they love the value proposition of the cloud. In that case, Exadata Clouded Customer is the right fit, where you can bring Exadata technology behind your firewall, fit it into your existing architecture, right? And you get the operating benefit of the cloud-based model, you get the financial benefit of a cloud-based model, but you're consuming Exadata in the cloud format. It works exactly like Exadata in the public cloud. The only difference is that the machine is in your own data center. You can touch and feel it, but it belongs to Oracle by sitting in your data center. So what this slide shows is that on the left side is Exadata in your data center that you can fit into your architecture, but you are managing it through the same cloud control plane in the public cloud. Now, one of the common questions that come from the customers is that what is customer's responsibility and what is Oracle's responsibility in an Exadata cloud model? So Oracle is responsible for managing the infrastructure. We monitor the health of the infrastructure, we patch the infrastructure, we're responsible for everything related to the infrastructure itself. We are also responsible for DOM 0. The customer is responsible for database, and the customer is responsible for virtual machines, the DOM U. We provide lifecycle management capabilities, the automation tools, create, delete, patch, backup, scale, etc. And customer has control to the DOM U, and they can, even for database patches, they can decide when to patch it, when not to patch it. So customer is responsible for the patching of the database, the lifecycle management of the database. Oracle is responsible for managing the infrastructure itself. And like I said, that for the customers who really want full stack automation, autonomous is another option available to them. And this is a good segue into autonomous database. So what is autonomous database? It's actually Oracle database running on Exadata technology, but automated to the next level of automation. The provisioning is automated, scaling up and scaling down is automated, the tuning is automated, security and patching is automated, fault tolerance is automated. So autonomous database is the case where the customer wants to move away from deploying and managing the databases to becoming the user of the databases. It's all built on Exadata technology. Now today, we offer autonomous in the public cloud, but very soon, we will be releasing autonomous capability on Exadata Clouded Customer. Larry Ellison mentioned it at Oracle OpenWorld in September in San Francisco. It's a roadmap feature for us, but it will be available, autonomous will be available on Clouded Customer Generation 2. Now, we talked about the different models for Exadata, right? The different commercial models for Exadata. And once again, you can buy Exadata in a very traditional way. If you want to consume Exadata in the public cloud, it's available as a service in the public cloud. If you like the value proposition of the cloud but want to bring Exadata cloud service behind your firewall, we have Exadata Clouded Customer. Then we have autonomous options also. Now, what we have seen is that the customers are actually using a mix of these options to address their IT requirements, their regulatory requirements, and their financial requirements. This is actually very important and very unique to the way we are offering these capabilities. So let me say it once again. Customers are using a mix of different commercial options that we are offering to address their specific IT, regulatory, and financial requirements. So I'm going to go through some use cases now, some reference example here, to show you how some of the customers are mixing and matching these technologies. So let's look at the first one, Sentry Data Systems. This is a healthcare service provider in United States. It's a regulated industry. Sentry offers a SaaS solution for the pharmaceutical companies, which allow the pharmacists to manage the life cycle of the drugs from the procurement to the financial selling of the pharmaceutical drugs. They are registered with 47 states in United States, and they have 18,000 feeds of data coming to them all the time. So they wanted to be able to leverage the capability of the cloud, the performance of Exadata, so they adopted Exadata. So if you look at the numbers there, 100% return on investment in 6 months, 60% decrease in the batch processing, 60% increase in the transaction processing. But look on the right side. In this use case, they are using Exadata Cloud@Customer both for their production environment, but also for their DR and test dev environment. So in this use case, number one, regulatory requirement is met because of Cloud@Customer. But the second part is that they're using Exadata Cloud@Customer both for production as well as for their disaster recovery. So let's take another example here. Dialog Semiconductors. It's a semiconductor company headquartered in UK and Germany. They make chips. In long run, they want to move 100% to the public cloud. They do not want to own data center. They are an existing Exadata customer, Exadata on-prem customer. So they decided to bring Exadata Cloud@Customer to run their production environment. They moved their existing Exadata over to their disaster recovery side, and then they acquired Oracle ZDLRA, or the recovery appliance, for their backup and recovery solution. So here you see the mix. Cloud@Customer is running the production environment, but the existing investment that the customer had done on Exadata, they moved that into a disaster recovery environment. So it's a mix of different commercial use cases. Let's look at another one. Sejel Technology in Saudi Arabia. They work with the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah on the visa processing. So they process about 10 million visas in 1 year. But they have peak load times. There are times when the load is very high. So they wanted to be able to leverage the capability of Cloud@Customer from a financial point of view. But this is also a highly regulated environment. They could not go to the public cloud. The only option they had was to bring the cloud behind their firewall and to be able to optimize their cost using Cloud@Customer. So in this use case, they have Exadata Cloud@Customer running in production, and then they have Exadata Cloud@Customer also running in their disaster recovery. But again, the use case is regulatory requirement, but also to be able to optimize the cost, because their peak load only happens in certain months. So in remaining months, they don't use Exadata Cloud@Customer that much. So because the usage goes down, their cost goes down. And when their peak load goes up, then they obviously fire up more CPUs. So they're optimizing their operations and their cost along with it. This is another case. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is a Japanese-owned convenience store company. And they were existing Exadata customer, but they did not have a disaster recovery site. So recently, 7-Eleven decided to create a disaster recovery site in the public cloud. So they have Exadata on-prem running their production, but their disaster recovery is running in Oracle Public Cloud using Exadata Cloud Service in the public cloud. So again, this is a different mix. On-prem Exadata running production, and the public cloud Exadata is now the disaster recovery site. Now this allows 7-Eleven to eventually move all their production into the public cloud too, because these are true hybrid models. So the point here is that every customer and every use case can be very different, from a regulatory requirement point of view, from a financial point of view, and from the IT requirement point of view, and also from the point of view of where the customer wants to go in next 3, 4, 5 years, the journey to the cloud itself. The commercial models that we are offering with Exadata allow the customers to mix and match different type of use cases, mix and match different type of deployment models to align with their specific requirements. And they're all based on the same time-tested Exadata technology. So the beauty here is that while the customer is innovating more on the deployment model and the journey to the cloud and the cost optimization and the operations optimization, these customers are not taking any technology risk at all because the technology is not new. It's the same time-tested Exadata technology. So from our point of view, I see this as a very unique mix of capabilities, both technological capability as well as the commercial capability offered to the customer to optimize their workloads and their operations and their finances. Now, the next question here at this point becomes that, well, great, Exadata Cloud is great, but financially, is it more expensive? Is it cheap? What is the number here? So here I have a slide from Wikibon. They are an analyst just like IDC. What Wikibon found out is that with Exadata Clouded Customer Generation 2, compared to a do-it-yourself environment, the customer can save, basically Exadata Clouded Customer in terms of total cost of ownership is about 58% cheaper. And for those who want to compare it to Microsoft Azure, it says that Microsoft Azure stack is 55% higher than a Generation 2 clouded customer for Oracle database workloads. So you have to look at the total cost of ownership in this case. But we already have reviews from the analysts that the total cost of ownership is much less with Exadata Cloud technologies compared to do-it-yourself environment. So what is the direction for Exadata? So there are two core themes with Exadata in terms of our strategy. Theme number one is to continue to focus on reducing the complexity for the end customer. All the automations that we are doing in Exadata stack, whether it is autonomous or Exadata Clouded Customer or Exadata Cloud Service, is all built around reducing the complexity for the end customer, the complexity of IT, the complexity of the environment. The second theme that we have with Exadata is to offer a choice of deployment to the end customer. So once again, Exadata is available on-prem, Exadata is available in the public cloud, Exadata is available in the cloud format behind the firewall, and obviously Exadata is available in the autonomous format. So you can choose the deployment model, but you can also choose the level of automation that you want. So these are kind of the core themes with Exadata. So today, autonomous database services, they run exclusively on Exadata, and I have said it multiple times. Oracle SaaS applications, a very big business for Oracle, it runs exclusively on Exadata. We have thousands of Exadatas fueling Oracle SaaS apps in our public cloud. And this last bullet here is actually a very important bullet too. We do a lot of innovation on the cloud side of Exadata. So the question becomes that, is Exadata on-prem able to take advantage of those innovations? The answer is absolutely yes. We are taking the innovations that we are doing on the cloud side of Exadata, and we are making it available to the customers who are interested in acquiring Exadata on-prem. And one of the prime examples of this is that this auto-indexing capability that's available with autonomous database, today, that auto-indexing is also available with 19c on Exadata on-prem. So we are taking the capabilities in the public cloud version of Exadata and making it available in the on-prem versions. It's truly a choice. It's a good choice for the customer. And while we continue to invest both on the hardware side and the software side, and our engineering is working all the time to find the right hardware technologies to fuel the hardware growth of Exadata. And on the other hand, our software team continues to work hard to find newer and newer ways to optimize and increase the speed of Exadata itself. The Exadata advantages are increasing every year. So every year someone stands on this stage and compares it to the competition, you will find out the difference between a competitive offering and Exadata for Oracle database will increase further and further every year. So that difference is increasing. So that's the end of my session. Thank you very much.